Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm with Bert Adams.
Yes.
My name is Alex Primm.
Pleased to meet
and
you.
It's good to see you again. We talked last night for a little bit, and today
Yes.
is October 23rd,
Yes.
2014.
Yes.
I'm Alex Primm, and I'm interviewing Bert Adams
Yes.
here in St. Louis at 4304,
4204 McPherson.
4204 McPherson.
Yes.
For Missouri State University's Route 66 Oral History Project.
Yes.
Well, we talked about a lot of things yesterday, Bert. Did you have any thoughts or things you'd like to add to what we talked about?
Well, more or less the neighborhood that we were speaking of last night
Right.
was in a more or less a mile radius of the center part of Springfield.
Right.
There was Grimm's. That was the major meeting place on the weekend. Had if to meet friends and fellows that we hadn't seen all week or whatever, or just different people. That would be a outing. But there are several places that are in Springfield that we could participate or go. So I don't know exactly which ones that you were.
Well, you and Cricket have drawn up this map here.
Yes.
And I think we ought to talk about the map.
All right.
Let's start at the north part of the center of the black community, the center district. On Central Street, there is Benton Avenue AME Church.
Yes. It's right across from Drury College. It's closed now. But it was, back in the days, a full house. But the older people passed away, and the younger people just didn't participate
They laid it down.
Yes.
What do you think will eventually happen with that building?
Well, Drury College has been trying to get it, so I understand.
Yeah.
But it's up to the
elders that are left.
Yeah, at the AME congregation or whatever.
Did the members of that church live all over Springfield?
Yeah, they did.
So it was an active church in its day.
That's right. Just like Pitt Chapel,
right?
Reedy Chapel.
All in the Central District.
Yes, north, south, east, and west. Each one of those areas had a church, and they had members.
Right.
And all the members knew one another. That's one thing about Springfield. Everybody knew everybody practically in Springfield.
Yeah.
And they all, back in the day, you didn't have to worry about no violence or nothing. Because if you did something, or your parents were going to be the first to find it out. Then you would be sorry.
Right.
But see, they took all that away when they stopped all that whipping, spanking, and going on. Child, they call it child abuse now. So see, that's one of the things. That's why we're having so many problems now with these young kids.
The parents are a little afraid to
That's right.
To discipline.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, next to the Benton Avenue Church, you show on the map here a Rollin Cafe.
It was a cafe, and Mr. Harry Rollins, he used to live on Sherman Street, but he used to own that long in the 30s.
And so that was one of the earlier cafes for the black community.
Yes, but he catered more or less to Drury College.
So he had a
few blacks. It was a few blacks, but he more or less catered to them.
What kind of food did he have?
All kinds, soul food, hamburgers, hot dogs, and whatnot. Yeah.
So it was a pretty successful business.
Oh yeah, he had pretty good business. Yeah.
Do you think he ever got any business off Route 66?
No. Well, I can't say for sure
because he's only 2 blocks from it.
No, he's further than that.
Is it? Oh, okay. Could you show what street is this one right here? Browen. Is that a street there near the Washington Avenue?
Briar.
Briar.
No. That's Briar.
Briar. Okay.
Yeah, that's where where the old Tender Mill used to be.
Yeah.
Well, that it was on Briar Street.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so he was really too far to get much business off.
No, but he got most of his business from the clientele from Drury College and all that.
Right.
Like the faculty and all that stuff. That's the kind of restaurant he had. Yeah.
It was a pretty large, active place.
Yeah, pretty good, pretty nice sized place.
Now, next on Central Street, your map shows a Campbell Mortuary.
Yeah, that. Now, when you go into Drury College off of Central Street,
right?
On this side just of the street is a little building, and that's where his mortuary used to be.
Who was the man who had
Wendell Campbell. Wendell Campbell.
So that was heavily used by the black community?
Oh, yeah, him and Herbert Smith were the two black undertakers in Springfield.
Okay.
And they both, each one of them, it all depends on what the people, whether they wanted Wendell or whether they wanted Herbert.
Okay.
See?
And
Herbert was down on Jefferson. Herbert Smith was down on Jefferson. See?
Now, you mentioned another place further down in the central area called Rudolph Cafe?
Rudolph's, yeah. That's, where, see, it's kind of hard if you're not familiar with that.
Yeah, I'm not as familiar as I should be.
Well, anyway, where Otis, and where the old Lincoln School.
Right.
Okay, we'd be going north.
Okay.
And from the school going north, it was a block.
Okay.
And this railroad track run across them. But he was on the other side of the railroad track there. And he had a small restaurant. In fact, he has his daughter still cooks after the fairground. Been there for 50, 60 years.
She cooks where?
At the Empire Fairground. They have a restaurant out there that they lease every year.
Oh, up on the north side.
Yeah, the fairground.
The big Empire Fairground.
Yeah.
And what's her name?
Her name is Barbara Deaton. And her husband is D.C. Deaton.
So they might be good to talk with at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because they would know some of the stories.
Oh, yeah.
But they probably, at this cafe, they probably didn't get a lot of business off Route 66, did they?
Rudolph?
Right.
No, I don't think so.
Well, let's go down the street here.
Okay.
Back to Lincoln School.
Right.
That was active till about 1960 when the desegregation finally took place.
Yeah.
And
the 50s or 60s.
Yeah. And that became part of the Ozark Technical College.
Yes.
And you went to school there at Lincoln School.
Yes, I did. Went to the 11th grade.
Do you remember much traffic on Route 66 and coming into town when you were in school?
Oh, yeah.
Route 66 was a big deal.
See, I lived in the west end of town, and a lot of times we would go over on College Street. They used to have a quarry.
Okay.
And it had water in it.
And that was the continuation of Route 66.
Right.
On College Street.
That's right. When you come down the hill, there was a quarry set on that side, but it's full now. They filled it in.
That was a rock quarry?
It was, but it had water in it.
It had water in it.
Do you know that other quarry over on Sherman Street, where the ballpark is?
Yes.
Do you know that was a quarry?
I didn't know that.
It was a quarry, and they filled that up. It goes all the way back out to Division Street across
North
65. Across 65, they got a cave out there now.
Oh, really?
Where they store stuff. Crafts, food, store stuff, and different places store stuff out there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So this quarry on College Street.
College.
Was that a swimming hole?
Well, some people take a chance on jumping off in there, but it was a little limey. It was a quarry.
It wasn't really good, clean water.
No, but I think it's been a couple of people that got drowned in there too because, be out there harsh playing and going on and fall off in there.
Yeah. Big high rock walls and things. So it was a little bit of a dangerous place.
Yes.
So that quarry was closed for a long time.
They closed it until the butane is I said butane, but it was a company across the street that sells this oxygen and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Acetylene
bottle
and stuff.
gases and things.
They bought that.
Oh, and
they could put their trucks and things over after they filled all that in.
Oh, yeah.
See? So they bought that. See?
Yeah.
And coming down College Street, coming down to that quarry, there was a wall on the left side.
Right.
And there was houses up there.
Yeah.
And they put some murals and things, painted some murals. Do you see them?
Yeah, they're little pieces of glass and tile, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I know a woman who did that mural.
All right.
Yeah, it's really nice.
And if you look back, coming in from off of St. Louis Street, coming west,
right
at the Colonial Hotel, they got a big mural on the side of the hotel.
Yeah.
And if you go down on Water Street, they got the Philharmonics. We were talking about them last night.
Oh,
they got a mural of them painted on there.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Okay.
Now, let's go down Sherman Street, and you show a store here.
Hodrick's?
Yeah, Hodrick's store.
Yeah.
That was owned by African American people?
Yes.
What was the name of that family?
Hodrick's. I can't think of the first name, but I knew the boys, Albert and Drome, and I knew their father. His name was Drome Stewart. But Miss Hodrick's husband, I didn't know because he was an older man.
Would they sell things to people on Route 66? Would they sell groceries?
Well, if they bought them, but at that time, that was too far off the road.
Oh, because it was on St. Louis.
Yeah, it was too far off the road to come there.
Yeah.
When they could buy stuff.
Places closer by.
Yeah.
So when did that store close, roughly? Do you think?
I would say it had to close. It had to close in the 50s.
Right.
Because there was another store right across, right next to OTC on Briar. That was O'Neill's, Kermit O'Neill's place.
Right.
It was a little restaurant. It's marked on there. Yeah.
Yeah, Kermit O'Neill.
It was a little restaurant. But see, he was there during the school days. When we were going to school.
So he was really up on Briar.
Who that?
Kermit O'Neill.
No.
Oh, he was down near Chestnut?
Is this Briar?
No, this is Chestnut here. Chestnut and Sherman.
Okay, well, where's the school at?
School's
Lincoln?
right there.
Well, okay. We're coming down. We're going south.
Right.
Okay. His place was right across the street. Going that way. That would be, let's see, what street is that?
Is it Sherman?
No, not Sherman. Oh, mercy.
Yeah.
Well,
but would they get business off Route 66? Kermit O'Neill?
No.
He was more from the school.
He just dealt with the school.
Okay.
The business for Route 66, only one that was going to get business from Route 66 would probably be Grimm's.
Right.
Because they could come across the viaduct. You know where the Shrine Mouse is?
Yes.
You come across the viaduct going south.
Right.
And you go up to the first stoplight. And then you make a right. And you go up a block, and that's Grimm's.
Right.
So that wouldn't be too far out of the way for somebody to go and get that.
And across the street from Graham's, you show a Washington Avenue Baptist Church.
Yeah, well, not exactly across the street. It's a block from Grimm's.
Right. Okay.
It's a block south of Grimm's.
Okay.
And they tore it down.
Now you're showing a block north.
North.
Yeah.
That's right. North. Yeah.
Okay.
North.
And that had a active congregation.
Yes. Oh,
And it's still going, isn't it?
Washington Avenue.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they Drury College bought that church and put a miniature church across the street.
Oh.
And Washington Avenue, they bought another church up on National and Commercial.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So that they actually moved the congregation.
Yeah.
And they just left the church as more of an historic.
Yeah, they downsized it. They miniaturized it.
Oh.
See, because they moved, they made a replica of it across the street from where the church used to be.
Oh, over on National.
Over on, no, that would be, it would be Briar.
Okay.
It would be Briar.
Near Drury.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk more about Graham's, because that's the place you remember the best.
Well, on the weekend, we would gather there at Grimm's, and we could park on the streets, and cars would be maybe a half a block down the street, and then they had a place around the back of there where you could go and sit down or whatever. And
with tables.
Yeah, and then you could stand around and talk or whatever. I mean, he had so much clientele on the weekend that it was hard to get in to find a place to sit down.
Now, who was the main cook and owner of that place?
Grimm's was the owner, and the cook was Old Man Fields, and then he had another guy, the cook, named Ray Halston. And
well, now, how about Mr. Graham? How did he? Is it Mr. Graham who started it?
Oh yeah.
What was his first name?
I
Can't remember. Well,
see, that's the whole thing. See, we were always taught to respect our elders,
right.
So we always called older person Mr. or Mrs. We never did call them by their first name.
Right.
See, now Mr. Graham was Mr. Graham, not Graham.
Right.
Now,
Mr. Graham.
Right.
And was he pretty popular in the community? People really liked him.
Oh yeah. And when he barbecued or fixed fish or something, he couldn't fix it fast enough.
He would sell out pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, and he had beer, had a license for beer.
Right.
And he sold that, but he catered too. He done a lot of catering.
Oh wow.
To people. See, because he had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. He had 6 people working for him.
Wow.
See, besides the dishwasher, which was me. I used to wash the dishes in the evening when I get out of school. He would let me work maybe hour, 2 hours. You understand?
In the evening,
getting the dishes. Yeah. Yeah.
And how many years did you work there roughly?
Off and on, maybe I say 6 months a year. Because I mean, I had other activities too. You know,
other jobs you did.
Yeah.
But you enjoyed working at Graham's.
Yes, I did.
I think she'll probably get that in the other room there.
She will.
Yeah. So
now,
how long did it go? How long was it in business?
Graham's?
Yeah.
As far as I know, and I'm 85 years old, so I would say he's in business for 60 years anyway.
Really?
Yeah. And see, he made sauce and sold his sauce on the market. Barbecue sauce. And after he passed, his wife started making it. And guess how old she was when she stopped making it?
Well, I guess she was in her 80s.
Oh, you got to be kidding. She was 101 years old.
Oh, my goodness.
She didn't die. She was 101 or 101 or 2 when she passed.
Wow.
Now, her daughter is up in Des Moines, and she had a place up there. But I think she closed the place up there.
Does she still make the sauce?
She was, but I don't think she's making it now.
Right.
Yeah. But she used to make, I mean, Miss Grimm used to make it,
Uh-huh.
and then I guess she showed her daughter, but I guess it just got too much.
Yeah.
Because her daughters, me and her daughter, we were classmates, so she, you know how she is then.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
But she had a barbecue place in Des Moines.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yep. And
What made Graham's barbecue special?
his sauce,
Really?
his barbecue sauce.
Has anyone ever figured out the recipe?
No, because he had it up here.
Uh,
He had it up in his head, and he took it with him.
but the daughter might know how to make it.
Oh yeah, yeah, she probably does, but it's not like his. I can tell you that because I bought it off of the shelf,
Oh.
and I knew that it wasn't the same. But
Oh, really?
you know, a lot of people just bought it because the name.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Wow.
yeah,
So he was really famous for ribs?
that's right, that's right.
Wow.
Nobody could beat them ribs, but he had a cook that cooked the ribs.
Oh.
And he had a pit out in the back.
Uh-huh.
I'll say as big as this porch.
Wow.
Not. I mean, you know, it was covered, but he had a great big pit.
It was like a separate building, a small...
No, it was connected to it, but you come out the back door, right into that little place where he had the.
Was it actually a pit in the ground?
No, it was standing up.
It was like a big iron...
You seen these gasoline tanks?
Yeah.
Well,
like a 100-gallon, 200-gallon tank?
yeah, I would say he had this pit made though.
Yeah.
It wasn't a
So
gasoline.
he could lift the lid off.
Yeah, it wasn't a gasoline tank. No,
Yeah.
the door slid sideways.
Oh, yeah.
See, and
So he could do
Now,
some...
I'm gonna tell you how big it was. You had to use a pitchfork to put the meat to get the meat in and out of it.
Wow.
Now you know how big the pit was.
Yeah. So he could put maybe a dozen slabs.
Oh, no, a dozen.
More than that.
He could get maybe 2 dozen slabs of ribs and whatever else he wanted because he cooked bologna. He cooked brisket. Oh, he cooked all kinds of meat, and he could put all that in there on that one pit.
What kind of wood would he use to cook on?
Hickory, charcoal. I mean hickory and cherry.
So he liked to get the wood that had a good smoke.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Now, would he put the sauce on while it was cooking?
No.
So it was a dry cook.
He cooked it until it got almost done.
Yeah.
Then it got almost done. Then he put a little sauce on it to brown it. Then he would take it inside, and when somebody ordered something, he had a bucket over there with a mop on it, and they would order it, and then he would take and put it on it and put it on the bread.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was really a dry cooked rib more.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of sauce on it.
No.
You'd put on what you wanted.
But it'd fall off the bone.
It was very tender.
That's how good it is. Yeah.
How long do you think he cooked them? 12
I
hours or overnight?
No.
What?
Yeah, that's what you cook a brisket
okay.
that. But a rib, you cook a rib maybe 2.5, 3 hours.
Really? It's pretty quick.
Oh,
and it's
no.
2 or 3. That's pretty quick, I think.
No.
Really?
No. See that pit out there? Look out that window.
Yeah.
See that pit there?
Yeah.
I can put 5, 6 slabs of ribs on there and take me about 2.5, 3 hours.
Wow.
And it's got a gauge on it to tell you how hot it gets.
How hot do you like it?
Huh?
How hot do you cook your ribs?
About 175 degrees.
So it's not a real hot fire.
No, but you have to stay right on top of it.
Yeah, you want to keep it about that temperature.
That's right. You got to keep turning that meat, otherwise you're going to burn it. You don't put no sauce on the meat when you're cooking it. Because if you do, you're going to burn it. And I learned that from him. See,
no sauce.
No sauce.
Cook it.
You got
turn it a lot.
You got a little base like a vinegar and water and a little maybe ketchup or something to brown it to make it colored. And then that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, that's what he used to baste that with. And then after that, then he put a little sauce on it when it gets almost done, and then he would take it inside.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I'm getting hungry talking about this. Okay, let's go back to the map here.
All right.
South of Graham's, you talk about Kermit's shop.
Yeah, that was right next to Grimm's.
Yeah.
See, Grimm owned that property.
Yeah.
But Kermit rented that from him. He had a shoe shop.
Shoe shop. Okay.
Yeah, it was a shoe cobbler.
Oh, okay.
You know, he fixed shoes.
Okay.
And right next to that was a D&B cab company, which was a black cab company.
And did they carry white customers too?
Oh, they carried anybody. Yeah.
Right. Were they a pretty successful business?
Yeah, up until let's see, I'm trying to think what year that was that they closed down. Because one of the fellas died.
One of the owners?
Yeah.
One of the drivers?
His name was Ralph Bartley and Tom Darton.
So all these businesses attract people.
Yeah.
So it was really a center for the black community.
Yeah.
Next to the cab company, you show Susie Cantrell's?
Susie Cradles.
Cradles.
Yeah.
What was that?
That now we're getting into some, I don't know where to use it or not, but, she sold hamburgers and things.
Okay.
And it was not a private place, but it's a good. I'm not going to say a good time house either. You know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
Well, that's why I don't be careful about what I say.
Okay.
On
the tape.
Yeah.
On the recording.
Yeah, because it's a lot of things that we can go outside of town in the country and talk about, but I had to be careful about what I say.
Okay. Well, if we need to find out more about that later,
we can turn it off and we can talk.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But we come back to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now we're looking at Tampa Street.
Yeah.
And there's a barber shop over here.
Yep, that's with Dempsey Pike and Eldridge Moss.
And
there was a little bitty place in the back of it, and it was a classmate of mine had a little place where you could go and dance. His name was Joe Duncan.
Oh wow!
And you could get maybe a dozen people or better in there.
Who would play the music?
He had a jukebox. And you put money in it. And it didn't cost but a nickel.
Yeah. So that was popular for the kids to go to the back of the barbershop.
Not just the kids, the grown-ups.
Everyone went there.
Yeah. If they wanted to, because it was more places than just that. Now it was a place right across the street in the Rock Castle.
Okay.
It was a place there. It was a pool hall, and
what's? Oh yeah, you show the Rock Castle on the map, also on Tampa Street.
Right, it's right across from that barbershop.
What was the Rock Castle?
It was a rooming place. It was about, I guess maybe 30 units in there. And people rented it, mostly blacks. Rented the apartments and things. Yeah.
Is that building still standing? No. But that was. It was really a real service for people.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people there.
Yeah. You know where that Susie Cradle we were talking about?
Yeah.
It's the alley there, that Jones Alley.
Right.
This is right across the alley there from her place.
Okay.
It was a big concrete building. And Frisco, a lot of Frisco people worked there. Lived there. And then a lot of people that worked on the city and various places, Yeah.
Now, if we go down Tampa Street and then we're going to go north on Benton, we get to Alberta's Hotel.
Benton, yeah.
And was it a bigger building than Graham's?
Alberta's place?
Yes. Or were they about the same size?
It was about the same, but only hers was upright and his was
more horizontal.
Yeah.
Was it like a one-story building for Graham's, or was it
just
one story?
It was one story.
But the Alberta's was a 3-story. It was the old hospital.
Yeah, right.
So it was a big building.
It was a pretty good sized building.
Because she had other things. She had the club, the rumpus room, a beauty shop, a barber shop.
Yeah.
So would it be as busy on the weekend as Graham's? Would people stop by there and
the
Alberta's?
Oh yeah. So everybody participated in different places. They would go various places because it was within walking distance. You could walk from Alberta's to Graham's, from Graham's to Susie's or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was just a really a good neighborhood to visit your friends and
Well, that was a central part, more or less, of Springfield.
Yeah. And in the 1950s, that's where Route 66 was going through.
Springfield.
On Chestnut. That was the
new one.
The new one.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why Grimm's was still standing there.
Right.
Because they didn't want to pay him what he wanted for that place.
So he kept it as long as he could.
Plus the fact too is he owned that 2 houses in Jones Alley, and then he owned 2 or 3 houses across over there. He didn't have to sell it.
Yeah.
You know.
So now south on Benton Avenue, you show a Fred Martin restaurant.
Yeah, that was Now you know where the Alberta's place is.
Yeah.
Well, cornered right there across. In fact,
right by the
You know where Piss Chapel Church?
Yes.
Well, right across the street from Piss Chapel Church, that's where the cafe used to be. But they put a great big antenna up there now.
Oh.
They tore the building down.
Oh, yeah.
They put a great big antenna up there.
Yeah, like for
the
cell
electric
phones
company.
or something.
Yeah, right.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So that building is no longer standing.
No.
But that was a pretty active place in its time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was 2-story, and he had rooms upstairs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think he had 4 or 5 rooms that was rented out.
So this was Mr. Fred Martin.
Fred Martin, yeah.
And across down west on Tampa was the Herbert Smith mortuary.
Yeah.
Is that still going?
That's going. No,
it's gone.
It's gone. He passed away too. Yeah. I'm trying to think. I'm not sure whether they tore that down or not. But it's you know where Alberta's place is.
Yes.
You could look into the backyard of the mortuary where Herbert Smith was.
Oh yeah.
That would be Jefferson. See.
So this whole area was really set up for local people and for tourists.
Yeah.
The black tourists, the entertainers coming through.
Right.
It was just really the place to be.
Now, a lot of people that come in on a train that would have to lay over or whatever, they might ask the red cap, well, where can I go or so-and-so, and that's what the first thing to do. You can go to Grimm's, or you can go to Alberta's, or you can go to Fred Martin's, or one of them places, you know. And then the cabs would be sitting out behind the station, and they would take them up there. To wherever they wanted to go. It didn't cost them maybe 25 or 30 cents at that time, during that time.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah, that was, this was really a center. And Springfield doesn't have anything like this anymore.
No.
For the black community.
Well, see, now, they everywhere now.
Yeah.
It's not just a black community. They everywhere. That's why I said, yeah, these people live north, south, east, and west out in the suburbs and places. Because I have a son that lives out, and he lives almost to Nixa. But now you got a lot of blacks live in Nixa now. See, in the Ozark.
Right.
And
so they live wherever.
Oh, wherever you can afford.
Right.
That's where they live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a little bit about the Korean War and the Korean veterans.
Well, I'm a Korean veteran.
Right.
And I have 4 Bronze Stars. I served a year and 3 months in Korea, then came back to the States. See, they put me in the reserve, but I was out 30 days and they called me back in. So that's why I went to Korea.
Were you trained at Fort Leonard Wood?
No, I was trained in Fort Knox, Kentucky, and then went to Fort Dix, New Jersey. Were you ever stationed at Fort Leonard Wood? No, but I was there because I used to take the young ladies on the weekend with a professor that took the girls down there to entertain the troops at the USO.
Now, where was this USO?
It was right outside the gate.
Oh.
At Fort Leonard Wood. See, it was segregated at that time. Back in them days, it was segregated.
In the early 50s.
Yeah. So they had a USO outside.
And that was a black USO.
That's right.
And where would these young women come from?
Well, they were Springfieldians that wanted to entertain the soldiers. Just like Springfield, Jefferson City,
Yeah.
Lebanon.
So they would come because they knew that there were these soldiers that were lonely. They wanted some
Just some dance and have fun.
right.
Because they were there training. Plus the fact, too, they would come to town when they got a 3-day pass. I mean, well, some of them got 3-day pass. Some of them got a 24-hour pass. But they would come to Springfield, and the first thing they'd do would go to Grimm's.
Also, they met young women there. The soldiers would meet young women there.
Yeah. And some of them got married. And I know, I can name you off 5 or 6 of them that got married and retired out of service in Springfield.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Who had been stationed at Fort Leonard Wood.
Fort Leonard Wood, and also down at Rogersville, Portland.
Oh, yeah.
Portland. Used to have an air base down there.
Oh, yeah.
In Portland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And so Route 66 made it possible for these people to get together because they could travel on 66 from Fort Leonard Wood down to Springfield.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of soldiers going back and forth.
Yeah, and see, they just didn't come to Springfield. They went every which way. They would come to St. Louis. They would go to Jefferson City.
Yeah.
They would go to Memphis, or you know what I mean.
Joplin.
Wherever they could. The time limit was for them. If they had a 3-day pass, they could go wherever they wanted to.
Yeah.
See, but if they didn't have a 3-day pass and they had a 24-hour pass, they could come to Springfield and be back in Fort Leonard Wood, and it don't take but an hour. In fact, it don't take. Well, now it took about 2 hours then, but it only takes about an hour now.
Yeah.
To come from Springfield to Fort Leonard Wood.
Yeah. If you're moving real quick.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've gone over this map pretty well.
Yeah.
Is there anything else I could ask you about, Route 66 and your experiences of Route 66? I know you had some stories. You've been to California 40 times.
40 times. And I've been on the old road about 4 times.
That would have been
that
the early
back in
days.
The 40s.
Right.
See?
What do you remember of the old Route 66?
Well, it's just that it was, it took longer.
Right.
It was more sights to see.
It was more of a 2-lane rather than
and it was a 2-lane.
Yeah.
You had to have good tires. You had to have more or less. Now, we didn't worry about the food because we could stop at a store or something, and they call what you call a Dutch lunch.
What is that?
Miss ham and cheese and bread or crackers and whatnot, and that's a Dutch lunch.
Oh, yeah.
And you could eat while you're traveling.
Sort of like a picnic in the car.
That's right. Or nowadays you can go buy a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken. It would last you all the way to
Los Angeles.
Albuquerque. Albuquerque, yeah.
So, did you ever have any memorable experiences on those early days on Route 66?
Thank God I didn't have I've been traveling that road. Do you know I haven't had a flat? The only thing I had was that alternator stick.
Yeah.
On one of the old cars. I don't know whether you know what I'm talking about or not. A regulator, not an alternator.
Okay.
It's a regulator. Sits up on the firewall. And we were going back to California, me and my brother, and the car stopped on me. About 10 miles from. You could see the sign. I mean the light. But it tells you before you start out. The next service station 100 miles. So I was within 10 miles of that service station. And the lights went out on the car.
Right.
So we couldn't see. You understand?
You had to stop.
I told my brother, I said, well, don't worry about it, see? Well,
how did you get your car repaired?
Well, I got out of the car and walked maybe from here over to the cabinet. And I knew what to do.
Yeah.
So the one car went by and he kept going, and the second car went by. He knew what I was talking about, so he stopped and backed up, and he asked me, he said, can I help you, brother? And I told him I needed some help. He said,
was it a black guy?
Oh, he's a white man.
Really? But he was friendly.
He recognized he knew what I was talking about.
Yeah.
And if you're a Mason, you know.
Oh.
You understand? So he told me, he said, get in the car. I said, we'll take it down there and I'll bring you back.
What town was it you went to? Do you remember?
That was, we was in Arizona. I can't think of the name, but I told you, I said it last night.
Yeah.
That I always go back to that service station when I go to California.
Oh, really?
The man died, but his son took over. Now, maybe his son's son got it now. I'm not sure. See? But anyway, when I got there, he said, I told him, so he put the battery on the charger.
When was the last time you made a trip out to California? 5 years ago?
Let's see. No, it's been, let's see. It's been 15 years. I know it's been a good 15 years.
Yeah.
Because
you've moved back and you helped your brothers move back.
Oh yeah, I moved him 3 times, and then I moved one back here from California. Yeah.
So you think Highway 66 is really a friendly road?
Oh, now or then?
Then?
Yeah. Yeah, because as long as you carried yourself accordingly, and you didn't bother nobody gonna bother you. And see, back then you didn't have all this robbing and killing and people sitting on the side of the road waiting for you. But now you can't even stop at a roadside park in any length of time because you might get knocked in the head or something.
Yeah, you're a little more wary now.
Oh yeah. Well, you stop and think, what's happening? Everything that's happening now. If you just look around you and see what's going on.
Yeah.
There's so much going on now that people are stressed out and they're worried to death, don't know which way to turn. And we got a problem right here in Ferguson right now.
Right.
Out there in Ferguson.
Yeah.
They were just right within 5 blocks of here last week.
A man was shot.
Well, no, they were demonstrating right down there.
They were demonstrating, yeah.
They have killings every night. They just had 3 last night.
Really? In St. Louis?
Oh, they got 117 already. Killings.
Yeah.
For this year.
Yeah.
And this year ain't out yet.
Yeah.
But I say that the people stressed out and they're just so worried now about what's going to happen on account of this kid getting killed out there.
Yeah.
See?
Well, why do you think people are more stressed out now than when you were a young man?
Well, looked like times got hard. For some people.
Right.
And other people that, I don't know how to put it, really. All I can say is you've got to try to get along in order to maintain and get someplace or whatever.
Right.
Now, I can deal with anybody. See, I've been around people all my life.
Right.
And I've been around movie stars. I've been around Tommy Dorsey and Jimmy Dorsey. I've been around a lot of doctors and lawyers.
Right.
In Springfield. Now in California, Tommy Dorsey and Jimmy Dorsey and the places that I worked didn't have no problems.
They were first-rate people.
Oh yes.
They treated you right.
Oh, as long as you see, if you carry yourself, like I said, if you carry yourself as a man or a gentleman or whatever, people want to respect you. You know what they call me?
What?
Mr. Adams. They don't call me Bert. Because I gained that respect.
Right.
See? So that's why I say, if you carry yourself, that's why a lot of people say, well, how can you sure look good. So. I just had a man tell me the other day, I hope I make it as long as you. I said, well, if you carry yourself, take care of yourself, then you can do it.
Right.
See?
Well, Mr. Adams, thank you very much for visiting.
Well, it's been a pleasure. And, it does good sometimes to sit down and talk to somebody and get all this out.
Yeah.
See, because, as I say, I know everybody in Springfield. And it's not a place in Springfield that I can't take you to or show you where they were or where they are.
Right.
See?
Well, I think we may want to do another interview with you. I'll talk to the man who's organizing this project because he's never seen a map like this.
Well, this really isn't a map. It's more or less the area where you ask about.
Right.
See,
Yeah.
but now we can broaden it later on if you want to.
Okay.
And when